Has an important relationship in your life lost its excitement and maybe become boring? Well, today we're going to talk about how you can get that excitement back. You know, this life experience is pretty interesting and pretty cool, really, because it allows us to learn so many things and to grow and to become the very best that we can be. So the best that we can be as individuals, but also to help us develop relationships that can truly be healthy and help us to achieve more happiness in our lives. Most of us get, or maybe we're even born this way, that we like to take the easy way. So I like to call it doing the easy hard. So we do what's easy in the moment, but long term it makes things harder. So self-discipline is one of the most difficult and challenging things that we can do in this life. In fact, it's so difficult that most of us would rather try to control other people or other things rather than controlling and changing ourselves. So let's talk about relationships for a minute, and let's talk about why I might be bored in a relationship. And again, we're talking about a relationship that is an important relationship, which means that at some point that relationship was not boring. You know, I enjoyed being with this person. I probably found it exciting and fun and enjoyable. So what changes that would cause that relationship to move from enjoyable, fun, exciting to boring? Well, what is boredom? Boredom is an emotion, right? So where do emotions come from? Or what is it that causes emotions? Now, when we're on autopilot and we're just going with our conditioned thoughts and beliefs, we tend to have this belief that other people cause us to feel a certain emotion or to feel a certain way. So that's why we say things like, you make me mad, you make me happy, you hurt my feelings, you disappoint me. So at a conscious level, when we really think about that, we know that those statements aren't true. We know that other people don't make us mad. We know that other people don't make us happy. But at a subconscious level, when we're on autopilot and things don't happen the way that we think that they should happen, then we tend to feel some level of discomfort, and it's easier to stay on autopilot. It's easier to allow our brain to just remain off and just go with what we've been conditioned to do, and it's much easier to blame our circumstance, our situation, or another person for what I'm feeling or experiencing, rather than take accountability, turn my brain on, and ask myself the question, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling right now? What is the belief or the thought that is creating this emotion? When I think that it's being caused by someone or something else, and I expect them to change in order for me to feel different, now I'm being lazy, because I don't want to have to put forth the effort to change me. It's easier just to expect or to hope that somebody else will change so that I don't have to. Here's the thing about that. For most of us, one of the things that is very important to us is that we're in control of our lives. But when we're doing blaming, what we're actually doing is putting ourselves in bondage, because what we're doing is we are saying that what I'm feeling right now, what I'm experiencing right now, is caused by someone or something else. And if we look at the principle of control, well, how much control do I have over another person? Or how much control do I have over an event or a circumstance outside of myself? The truth is, I have no control over that, but what I do have is influence. So I can influence that to change, but I can't make it change. But I do have complete control over me and what I think about that person or situation, how I feel about that person or situation, and what I do in response to that person or that situation. So regardless of what's going on around me, I could still choose to be happy. I can still choose to be excited about life. So if I'm in a relationship that all of a sudden or over time has become boring, what that means is that I've become lazy and I've given up control over my life and I've given it away to someone else. It's an expectation that somebody else is responsible for my happiness. And it's this belief that life should be entertaining, or life should be fun, or that life should not be difficult or challenging at times. Again, if we turn our brain on and think about that, we know that that belief is not true. Happiness doesn't come from having everything that we want. Happiness doesn't come from having an easy life or not having any challenges or struggles. Happiness really comes from pushing through and working through those challenges and difficulties, because as we do that, we feel better about who we are. We feel better about our ability to overcome the things that we face in life. The other way, we just create a downward spiral where we feel less and less capable. Our self-worth tends to decrease, and we get better and better at blaming things that are outside of our control. So if you find yourself in a relationship right now where you're bored, well, you have two choices. One, you can continue to live your life the way that you have been living. You can believe that the boredom is caused by the person that you're in a relationship with, and you can continue to expect them to change so that you can feel differently. And in fact, you could leave that relationship and go find another relationship that may be more exciting. But if you choose to do that, then eventually that new relationship is going to become boring as well. And then you will look for someone else to bring you excitement. And you can live the rest of your life going from person to person to person. And each time I start a new relationship, it can be fun and exciting. Or I can figure out that, you know what, I can enjoy life regardless of what my life is. And I can find excitement in anything that I do. In fact, it could be exciting to go on that journey of how do we get back in our relationship that which we once had? What can I do to get to know the person I'm in a relationship with better? Maybe there are things that I think that what they're doing or what they're not doing is boring. Well, maybe it's because I don't really understand what that's all about. So I could say, I'm going to see if I can learn more or understand more. That's what this life is all about. And that's where excitement comes from. It's this journey of learning and growing and becoming. And in any situation or any circumstance, we can choose to be excited and to be interested and to have fun and to enjoy that place in which we're at. So I encourage you to take control over your life and to recognize that if you are bored, that's a choice that you're making. Another thing to think about is everything we do for a reason. So maybe I'm choosing to be bored because I'm looking for an out or an escape, or I'm looking to blame someone or something else because I don't want to take accountability for my own life. And I encourage you to be honest with yourself and to be willing to look at and to find what the truth is, but to know that underneath all of that, that you're okay. You know, you don't have to be someone that you're not in order to be okay. Knowing that frees you up to take an honest look at yourself and to recognize and know that you're not perfect, that, you know, you may have some beliefs that are not true. You may have made some decisions and choices in your life that maybe weren't the best decisions and choices for you, but that still doesn't change who you are as a person and your value. So once you feel good about yourself, then you'll be more willing to look at yourself, to be able to identify those faults beliefs that are driving your behavior, and then, because you feel better about yourself, to be willing to risk, to take accountability, and to begin trying to make different choices in your life, to change up who you are instead of just staying on autopilot, staying with the status quo, but be willing to change things up. And that's how you'll find true excitement in your life. Thanks for watching today. If you have thoughts or comments about what was shared, well, share those comments below. If you have other things that you may be struggling with in your life, well, let us know what those things are too. We'll do videos to address those areas. And make sure that you subscribe to our channel, ring the bell so that you can receive daily notifications of new videos. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, be sure and follow me here.